Yo, yo, yo! What's going on, everybody? Welcome in to another episode podcast to talk about our favorite team, the Arizona Cardinals. Huge shout out to the people that are currently in the chat. We got Lorenzo, we got Zane, we got Miguel, we got Kevin. What's up, y'all? Appreciate you guys for being here up and foremost. Do me a huge favor. Smack up the like button here on your way in. Appreciate you for being here. And on top of that, join the family. We are on the road to 19K. Cannot do it without you guys. I believe we just hit 18,200. So we're trending in the direction. We got a little under 800 subscribers to go to hit that 19K mark. Can't do it without you guys. So make sure you subscribe it up. Appreciate you guys for being here today. We are going to be diving into the Arizona Cardinals preparing for the San Francisco 49ers. All you need to know to kind of get ready for this game. And ladies and gentlemen, I could already tell. I could already tell. Usually we have about 40 people here around this time. It seems like a lot of Arizona Cardinal fans right now are turned off into the season. It's okay. I completely get it. I understand. I don't think anybody was going to be able to predict that the Cardinals are going to be 3 wins, 6 losses, and going against another crucial division matchup coming our way when they want this win very, very badly. And let's be real, the Cardinals want this win as well, right? Like, we both want this win for completely different reasons. The Cardinals need this win because this coaching staff needs to finish off the season strong and potentially save you know, their jobs. And then you got the San Francisco 49ers right now. They're trying to stay within this division race. They're not as good as the Rams. They're not as good as the Seahawks, but they want to stay within the division race. They want to hit a playoff berth. They potentially want to be that 7th seed in the playoff picture. And as of right now, the Arizona Cardinals, do they still have a chance for a playoff berth? I wouldn't say a playoff berth, but it is very important for the Cardinals to finish off the season strong for the reasons that we just listed. And the biggest reason is there's going to be a lot of changes, especially if this season continues to go sideways, 3-7, 3-8, right? What have you. The Cardinals coaching staff needs to figure out a way to start stacking up some wins and get some sort of sliver of hope heading into 2026, because I think there's something out there that people have been talking about, that the Cardinals haven't been, or they haven't beaten a good team in over a year. Like, that's crazy, because if you look at the teams that the Cardinals have quote unquote beat, they're kind of right. I mean, they haven't really beat a team that's been great, right? Now, of course, the Panthers, we beat them and they got a winning record right now, but like, that might turn around, kind of flip on their head as the season goes along. We don't know, right? But yeah, it's absolutely crazy to kind of be in the situation that we're in right now. It's very unfortunate because the Arizona Cardinals expectations were playoffs. It's playoffs or bust. And on top of that, like, we got a team in the Phoenix Suns that everybody's really, really excited about. So, I have a lot of attention on the Phoenix Suns right now. Like, what they're doing in the start of their season is really, really good. So I'm excited to see what they're going to do. But let's see. Let's take a look to see what the Arizona Cardinals are going to do. Today we are going to talk about 49ers versus Cardinals, X factors, what the Cardinals need to do to come out with the win. Because like I said, it's not tank season. But they got to win this game. They absolutely do. We got my guy Jay in the chat, says fair weather fans. But let's be real. Like, Jay, let's be real. The portion of die-hard Cardinal fans, and I mean die-hard, the guys that listen to Cardinals news from January all the way to January the next year, right? Those Cardinal fans are so far in between. Like, you can't. There's not a lot of them. There's not a lot of that portion of the fan base that sticks through watching Cardinal football when you're 3-6, when you're 3-10. A lot of those Cardinal fans turn it off. They rather do something else on a Sunday. They rather go fishing. They rather watch other NFL teams. They rather watch their second or first favorite team, because when you're living here in Phoenix, Arizona, sometimes you kind of feel bad and you want to root for this team, but this organization really doesn't give you a lot to root for, unfortunately. But But yeah, it is what it is. Call it fair weather fans. It is what it is. We already know. Like, we've been in we've been in this city for far long enough that we know that you got to be a winning team in order for you to get the city but rally behind you. You got to be a winning team. But yeah, I'm excited about this matchup. I really am. Now it sucks that we're not gonna have Marvin Harrison Jr. Yeah, that's pretty terrible because Marvin Harrison Jr. is your best wide receiver, but you're gonna get an opportunity to see what Michael Wilson can do. And I remember a year in 2023 when we ended up having Josh Dobbs. Remember in 2023 when we started the season with Dobbs? Michael Wilson had himself a really good game against the 49ers. I think he had like a 2 touchdown type game. So maybe that type of game is coming his way. We'll have to kind of wait and see it all shakes out. But like I mentioned before, the Jonathan Gannon led regime, they're looking for a win, man. They really are. They are looking for a win for the Cardinals to get this season. I'm not gonna say back on track, but to try to finish the season strong, right? Because that's kind of really the only thing we're fighting for, right? The schedule doesn't let up one bit. But that's one of the main reasons why I was preaching. You got to win those games in the beginning of the season and stack up wins as much as you possibly can because the second part of your schedule is really tough, right? 49ers, Jaguars, which call it like you are, like call it what you will, but the Jaguars are, I believe, are leading in their division, or they're very close to. I think the Colts are leading the division right now, if I'm not mistaken. But they're up there within their division. You got the Bucks, you got the Rams, the Texans. Maybe CJ Stroud comes back. The Falcons, which they put points up. The Bengals, which most likely will have Joe Burrow again, and then the Rams again to finish off the season. So it ain't gonna be easy. It ain't gonna be easy. Jonathan Gannon did took to the media today, and he ended up saying that they are going to wait for the injury report in terms of who's already ruled out for the Arizona Cardinals. So if you're looking for some information, maybe by 3 p.m. today, when the injury report is released, we're going to get a little bit more information as to who's going to be available, who's going to be playing, who's not going to be playing. But as of right now, there was a little bit of a panic mode yesterday when we saw Josh Sweat not available in practice, but that ended up coming to being about like that's just a veteran day off for Josh Sweat. So he's most likely going to be playing here in week 11. And boy, oh boy, do we need everybody out there. We do. No Marvin, no Mac Wilson Sr. It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be a tough task. But Michael Wilson needs to step up. Xavier Weaver, Greg Dortch, and then of course we all know that Trey McBride's probably gonna have himself a really really good game. A really really good game. Kevin in the chat says my point is Kyler Murray. My okay. Kevin. Oh, here we go. So Cardinals next season it ain't going to be good. So we got I got Kevin over here. My point is Kyler Murray is going to play or not. You're saying regardless if he plays or not, this is not going to be a good season next year. Is what you're saying? I mean, the only thing all we have is hope. That's all we have right now. Let's be real. All we have is hope. If you want to already start talking about 2026 being a dumpster fire of a year, I, I'm I choose not to talk about it right now. I want to see what this team does. If there is a new, you know, coaching staff, if there is a new front office, which most likely there won't be, but I want to see what they do before I kind of give my opinion on 2026. Now, of course, I was really, really bullish on this year, and I was really, really excited about this year, and I thought we were going to be a you know, double digit win type of team. But boy, was I wrong, right? But I didn't project all these injuries to happen for the Cardinals, but this season went sideways. Like, I don't even want to label injuries as an excuse. Like, this season went sideways before the injuries started to pile as bad as it did. We were dealing with injuries from the get, though, right? With Walter Nolan not being healthy from the beginning of the season, we were dealing with injuries every which way. And then the injuries kind of reared its ugly head, unfortunately. But you never know. You never know what's going to happen. But the 49ers, I feel like it's going to be a good game. I don't think the 49ers are as a big juggernaut of a team like the Seahawks are. We ran into a buzzsaw with the Seahawks. We ran into a team that's probably going to go deep into the playoffs. And if you ask any of their fans over there, they probably have a Super Bowl caliber team in their eyes, right? So we ran into a buzzsaw this last weekend. I don't think the 49ers are that team. Now, we already saw the report out there that Brock Purdy will be playing in this game. And for the people out there, like those 49er fans that are like debating between Mac Jones and Brock Purdy, you got to give credit to what credit is due. Mac Jones and what he's done for the 49ers up to this point is actually pretty darn like astounding. Like he kept this season afloat for them, right? They're 6-4 right now. And honestly, I would rather take I would take a 6-4 a record. Like, let's be, I would take a 6-4 record at this point. Unfortunately, the Cardinals are 3-6. But with what Mac Jones has done for them to keep them afloat, they're still within this division race. Like, they're what, 2 games back right now between both teams. Maybe there's some division, matchups that can go different ways here and there, but they're 6-4 while the other teams are 7-2 right now in the division. One of these teams, Seahawks and the Rams, they're gonna be humbled, right? Or at least they're gonna get a loss. That's what I'm trying to say. One of these teams are gonna be 7-3, and the other team is gonna be 8-2. So it just kind of goes to show that this NFC West division is so damn tough. It really is, and it's eh, shame on me for obviously buying into the Kool-Aid that, oh, Sam Darnold isn't going to be great with the Seahawks. It was a one-hit wonder. Oh, did you see the back injuries that, Matthew Stafford's dealing with right now? He's not going to last the season, right? And then all the unknown with the 49ers. We had Mac Jones in week 3. We're going to win. Or all of these things that we ended up buying into, including myself. Um, it's a humbling experience, to say the least. It's a humbling experience because now the Cardinals are 3-6, and you're going into a game where I wouldn't say it's a must win to save your season, but it's a must win to try to end the season strong, right? I guess that's the best way to describe it. Right now, the worst teams in the NFC: Cardinals, Saints. I would throw the Falcons there as well. And the Giants and the Commanders and the Cowboys. Those are probably the worst teams in the NFC right now. Um, and the percentage of the Cardinals making the playoffs with 8 games left is very, very, it's slim. It's slim right now. I'm just hoping that the Arizona Cardinals can not get beat down the way that we got beat down. That's the only thing I can hope for at this point. The only thing I can hope for. The 49ers aren't world beaters. They have Nick Bosa not there anymore. Fred Warner isn't there. Michael Williams, one of the rookies that was playing pretty promising this year, ended up getting hurt as well. So they got a lot of injuries like we do as well. I don't think they're a juggernaut of a team. I think they're beatable. Right now, I believe Fox Sports has their defense ranked at number 21 overall, like the total defense. Their passing defense is ranked number 22. Their rushing defense is ranked number 16. So this team can be beat. This team can be beat. Offensively, I think they're pretty up there with pretty like mid, if I'm not mistaken. No, actually, I apologize. I undersold them. Total offense for the 49ers are sitting at the 11th spot. Passing offense, they actually are number 1. I completely undersold them. That's on me. That's actually very surprising. Fox Sports has their offense at number 1 right now in total offense in passing. And in rushing, they are actually number 27, which is actually pretty surprising with McCaffrey there. So for what it's worth, this is a team kind of middle of the line. Can the Cardinals steal one? Yeah, they can. But that's what this would be, right? This would be, can the Cardinals steal one? I believe most people have the 49ers win this game because their backs are against the wall within the NFC West. But we are going to have to depend a lot on Trey McBride. We're going to have to depend a lot on Michael Wilson. We're going to have to depend a lot in this makeshift run game that we have here. Amari DiMercado. We're going to have to depend on Bam Knight, Michael Carter. These are the guys that we're going to have to depend on. But obviously, number 1 X factor for us is going to be this man right here, Trey McBride. He's going to be fed. He's going to be a big focal point of this game plan, and rightfully so. This guy right now in Trey McBride is arguably having himself one of the best tight end careers we've seen in an Arizona Cardinals uniform. Actually, the best tight end a career we've seen in an Arizona Cardinals uniform, bar none. Right now, he's 603 yards, 61 receptions. I believe he's actually 6th in receptions right now. And I believe that's amongst tight ends, if I'm not mistaken. And he is 6th with touchdowns. He's tied with number 4. And averages about 9.9 yards a catch. This is going to be the guy we're going to have to lean on. And hopefully, fingers crossed, he's going to be able to stay healthy. Because there's one thing to say, okay, we're going to depend on you. We're going to kind of feed you. But also on the other side of the coin, it can kind of bite us in the butt, right? It can kind of bite us in the butt. Now, let's read a couple comments. Let's go with Javier. What's up, Javier? Oh, yep, actually agree. Wins actually hurt Cardinals instead of helping them in the draft position. Only people hoping for wins to save his job is Gannon. Yep, 100%. 100%. And that's what I'm saying, right? Here's the thing. It depends on how you're looking at this season, right? It depends on how you're looking at the season. If you want to have a little hope, then the hope comes from, okay, if you want to win games, that might save Jonathan Gannon's job, right? You can finish off the season strong. But you on the other side of the coin, if you're looking into 2026, and like I said, you could already tell, right? You could already tell we averaged about 150 people watching in the beginning of the season, 120 people watching on these morning podcasts, right? That we used to have. We're at 36 now, 36 concurrent viewers. Now, the videos that we post are still doing very, very well and performing well. And I appreciate you guys for obviously tuning in, but there's a lot of portion of this fan base that is tuned off. They don't care. They don't care. They just want the season to end. And they can care two S's of what happens this weekend. I know a lot of people that just don't care. Like I said, there is a path for the Cardinals to win this game. There is. Do you want the Cardinals to win? Obviously, all the people here in this chat, everybody will probably have a different answer, to be real with you. Everybody in this chat will probably have a different answer because either A, you want to finish off the season strong and you want the wins to keep stacking up, which is fine, right? You're a fan. That's cool. But there's also those other portions of the Cardinal fans that are looking forward to 2026. All right. That's what our focus is on right now. How are we going to unload or potentially unload a quarterback? And or what are we going to do in the draft and free agency? So a lot of question marks. A lot of question marks. So let's keep it going with the chat. Salty surprise in the chat says the new O-line coach is terrible. Yeah, I mean, I feel like the offensive line has regressed as well, right? You can blame it on the offensive line coach in Justin Fry. After losing Clayton Adams, being the fact that this is the exact same offensive line and they've regressed mightily, and I don't know why it takes a long time for Petzing to say, yes, we regressed. Just admit it. You regressed. Like, this offensive line has regressed. You can point that to as a factor. You can. That Clayton Adams is no longer here, and Justin Fry probably isn't up to the challenge, but it's also these guys are getting older, right? A lot of the guys that we have on this line are getting older. Jonah Williams kind of seems like a turnstile. Evan Brown was never the future at that position. I was really expecting a little bit more from Will Hernandez, if I'm going to be real with you. And then Froholt, which I still do believe is one of our top two guys in the offensive line, they've regressed. They've regressed, absolutely, mightily. Joe in the chat says, yes, I want to win, especially against the Niners. And there's that side of it all as well, right? Where there is a real rivalry amongst fans, right? Rivalry amongst fans, whether you know 49er fans or you just hate the 49ers in general. There's some people that do want to win this game, and that's fine. However, like I said, however you want to decide to view this season the rest of the way, that's going to be up to you guys, right? That's going to be completely 110% up to you guys. One thing I will note is that from seeing the Thursday night football game, the Jets are probably going to be top one, top five NFL draft picks. They're probably going to be somewhere in the top five in the NFL draft. Bless their heart and what they try to do with Justin Fields. It didn't work. It's not going to work. If we look at the schedule, we got some games that can favor the Cardinals if we lose, right? If the Cardinals lose this game versus the 49ers, and I get it, we don't want to talk about the negativity, but let's talk about the other side of the coin. We got a couple games to keep our eyes on. You got Washington versus Miami, which they're both 3-7. If one of those teams wins, they go over to 4-7, right? And the other team drops to 3-8. So one of those teams are in front of the Cardinals right now in the draft order. So we can very realistically see a spot where the Cardinals do leapfrog some people depending on what happens in this game. Cincinnati is playing Pittsburgh. Cincinnati's 3-6. There's rumors out there that Joe Burrow might come back. We'll see what happens there. Houston versus Tennessee. It's a division game. You never know what happens there. Atlanta, 3-6. Can they beat the Carolina Panthers? Yeah, some might say they can beat the Carolina Panthers for sure. The Giants versus Green Bay. I don't think the Giants. I think Green Bay comfortably wins that game. Baltimore versus Cleveland. Something to keep your eyes on, right? Dallas versus Raiders, right? 2-7 Raiders. What you want if you're looking into 2026 is all these teams that are higher than the Arizona Cardinals in terms of like draft stock. You want those guys to keep winning. That's what you want. You want those guys to keep winning. Um, because right now, I believe we're sitting at the 11th pick in the 2026 NFL draft. Yeah, we're sitting at the 26th pick in the NFL draft right now. We got Atlanta in front of us. We got Cincinnati in front of us. We got Washington, Miami, Vegas, Cleveland, Giants, Jets, New Orleans, and Tennessee. This offseason is really going to depend on which quarterbacks come out of the draft. Like, it's the truth. There's not a lot of good quarterbacks coming out of this year's draft like we thought there were going to be. We were talking about, like, before this college season even started, like Nussmeier from LSU, people were very high on. Cade Klubnik being one of those guys that people were really, really high on. But, like, all these guys, Drew Aller was another one that people were really high on. Unfortunately, he got hurt. So we're dealing with the situation that we're in right now with Fernando Mendoza and Ty Simpson probably being your number one and number two. There's a lot of teams in front of the Cardinals right now in terms of draft that are um, uh, that could potentially get a quarterback. But man, this offseason is going to be so fascinating, man. It's going to be so fascinating. Randall in the chat says this quarterback class does not look promising. Yeah, it doesn't. It doesn't. Maybe the Cardinals do go after a second rounder, maybe somebody who does fall if they do land, behind these guys that are quarterback needy teams. Maybe they do find themselves in maybe reviving somebody's career, which I would like the Arizona Cardinals to draft a young guy, but there are not very many options out there. There really isn't. Dante Moore is probably the third quarterback, and there's rumors that he might even go back to college to Oregon. So I don't know. It's crazy right now. It really is. Javier says I want Mendoza. Yep, I do too. Russell in the chat says, so then what the heck are we going to do? Well, the options that you have right now is try to trade Kyler for as much as you possibly can. So here's option one, right? Trade Kyler for as much as you possibly can. Oh, actually, you have multiple options. Let's look at the first option here. First option, Kyler Murray comes back at the end of the year. You bring him back at the end of the year, and he comes back in 2026. That's option one, right? Because although national people out there saying it's imminent, it's doubtful, he's still on the roster, right? That could be an option where the Cardinals ride it with them in 2026. Do I like that option? I don't, but if that's what the best thing we got going for us, let's see what happens. Option two, Cardinals continue to lose. They hopefully become one of these top draft picks. I just don't see a world where the Jets win any games or New Orleans. And if they do, maybe the Cardinals can find themselves in prime spots. So you could drop the quarterback if you were in that prime position. Or option three, you trade Kyler, try to accumulate as much draft picks as you can and trade up. Or option four, you try to revive somebody else's career that's coming into free agency. It's not a lot of options either. So it's going to be a very, very interesting situation how the Cardinals are going to handle this whole quarterback situation. But first things first, right? First things first. We got the 49ers here. A very, very hungry 49ers team. A very, very hungry 49ers team. They got Brock Purdy playing. They want to win this game. And the Cardinals want to win it too. I don't want to get it twisted. The Cardinals want to win this game as well. But if you want to stay within this division race, you got to win this game. I think we will put up points. I don't think we're going to get annihilated like we did versus the Seahawks. But I also didn't think we were going to get annihilated versus the Seahawks either. And then we did, right? But I'm looking at this 49er team. They're dealing with a lot of injuries like we are. And they are not the top dogs in the NFC West. Let's be real. Can the Cardinals steal a win? They can. Will they? Well, let's see what the game plan is, right? They still got McCaffrey. They still got Kittle. Ricky Pearsall might be playing. Jennings seems like he's trending in the right direction. They got a real overall good team. Cardinals right now don't have a run game. Our offensive line is pretty weak. We're going to depend on Michael Wilson to step into that wide receiver number one role. Will it work? Let's see. And then Trey McBride's going to be your X factor. I still do have our confidence in the defense. I really do. But not having Mac Wilson Sr. out there is pretty big. But we'll see. We'll see what Cody Simon does in a second year. Or not second year, I'm sorry. In his second game starting, right? We'll see. Let's take a couple comments in the chat. We got Randall in the chat saying, this league is a copycat league, and the new trendy thing is signing a vet QB and reviving their career. Example, Sam Darnold, Daniel Jones, and Baker Mayfield, etc. Yeah, I mean, you might be right. Yeah, you might be right. I'm just trying to, like, who do you even get? Like, who do you even get? Like, I'm trying to think of, like, who will be a free agent in 2026. Like, right now, the top guys that are quarterbacks that are going to be a free agent, one of them is Daniel Jones. Do you guys really think the Colts are going to allow Daniel Jones to walk away after what he's doing? I don't think he's going to. I really don't. Who's another top quarterback that's available that could potentially be out there? Let me see. I don't even see any other ones, to be real with you. I'm looking at a list here from ESPN, and there's no other quarterbacks on this list but Daniel Jones. Nobody. There's not a lot of options. So, I mean, you might be right, though. You might be right. It is a copycat league. 110%. It is. It's a copycat league for sure. And especially because this draft class doesn't seem to be great. This is going to be very interesting. Very, very interesting. Miguel in the chat says, keep Jacoby. He's already had a lot of practice with. Oh, yeah. Well, we got Jacoby for sure. Jacoby Brissett's going to stay with this team because he's under contract for 2026. So it's not like he's going anywhere, right? So that's why I'm like, it's almost kind of set up perfectly, at least in the way my mind works, is that you got Jacoby for 2026. You keep him, you ride him, but you do everything in your power to try to get one of these top two guys, Ty Simpson or maybe even Fernando Mendoza. You do everything in your power to try to get there, especially if Tennessee stays there at that spot. If Tennessee stays at the current spot at the number 1 overall pick, you might have an option to trade up with Tennessee. You might, because they're not going to go after another quarterback, at least not in my eyes. It looks like Cam Ward is going to be who they're sticking with as of right now. So you got Jacoby still. He's a good backup quarterback. I know, I get it, backup, but he'll give you good, solid quarterback play. Probably won't give you a lot of wins, but he'll give you good, solid quarterback play. Michael in the chat says, I like Rather from the Saints. He gets the ball out fast, and that's all I know about him. He looks solid versus the Cardinals in week 1. He looks solid. Very, very solid. Very, very solid. Yes, they're keeping Jacoby because they have him under contract for 1 more year after this one. So in 2026, we still got him under contract. The Dark is saying the quote, the great Sam Acho, anyone but Kyler. It just feels like it's time to move on. That's what it feels like. It feels like it's time to move on. It's one of those situations where the Cardinals and Kyler, it seems like the time has already kind of come to an end for them. So for what it's worth, there's that. Jack in the chat. What's up, Jack? Free agent QBs for next year outside of Jones, A-Rod, Russell Wilson, and then Mariota. Yeah, that's. I don't know if A-Rod's going to come back. He might. He might come back. Russell, I don't know if I. It's just going to. The whole situation of like starting that whole retirement thing that the Cardinals have a stigma on. Oh, their retirement home. It's just going to. It's going to be the same thing, man. Like, it's just. I don't know if I want Aaron Rodgers here. I don't know if I want Russell Wilson here. I don't know if I want Mariota here. Like, are any of those guys better than Jacoby? Are they? I mean, maybe a slight bit. I don't know. I feel like the Cardinals right now, they got to go after a rookie is what I'm looking for right now. But I get it. Like, your options are very minimal. And on top of that, you really potentially need to go after an offensive lineman, right? Here we go, right? 480 Nacho says, there it is, right? Offensive lineman is probably what the Cardinals should do this year in the first round. If not first round, definitely the second round for sure. They got to go after young pieces and bring them in. Because I'm looking right now to see like any top free agents that are going to be available at like offensive line, right? Tyler Linderbaum might be available, at least as of right now, per ESPN. If you're looking for a new center, although Froholt, what is Froholt actually? Let me see. Froholt for the Cardinals right now is signed up until. Oh, we got Froholt until 2026. Okay. So, guess center isn't that much of a need, but Linderbaum, which is a guy that a lot of Cardinal fans did want, instead Steve Keim ended up trading for what's his name? Hollywood Brown. Another player that could be available, Braden Smith, offensive lineman from the Colts. May the Cardinals bring him in. Trying to see if there's any other offensive linemen that the Cardinals can benefit from bringing in. Rasheed Walker from the Green Bay Packers. I mean, there's a few names. There's a few names. So, offensive line, I agree. We either draft or you got to kind of refresh this offensive line. I don't know what Will Hernandez is going to give you. I don't know what Will Hernandez is going to give you next year if we do bring him back. But although like it's got to get better for sure. All right, 1 second. I'm trying to see what the projected cap space for the Cardinals are going to be. Let me see. $2026 per over the cap. Per over the cap, the Arizona Cardinals are projected to have $32.5 million. Yikes. Yikes. We had the most money to spend last year, and Monty Ford sat on his hands. I can only imagine he ain't going to do a damn thing with $32.5 million. At least that's projected. Of course, a lot of different things can happen to make that number go up. And on top of that, the salary increase, that will help out a lot of teams as well. So right now, per over the cap, the Cardinals are projected to have, $32.5 million in 2026? Yeah, that's not good, man. That's not good at all. Interesting. Interesting. How would you feel? Honestly, to be real with you, I wouldn't hate this at all. I would not hate this. Now, a couple different things that we need to kind of obviously know. A, is Sam Levitt actually coming back to college, or is he actually going to be declaring for the NFL draft, right? Because we don't truly know right now. What we know is that Sam Levitt got hurt and he's done for the season at ASU, right? That's what we know. Sam Levitt, right now, 6'2", 205. He's 20 years old right now. He's 20. So, no, I don't hate the idea, but there is a realistic situation where he might just go back to college. He's 20. At the end of this year in December, he'll turn 2020. At the end of this year in December, so next month, he'll turn 21. He'll be 22 if he is on an NFL team at the end of next year. So he's still very young. I would like the Cardinals to draft him. I don't think he's a first-round talent. Maybe a second-rounder, something along those lines. But we also don't know who's going to declare and who's not, right? And that's why when we were talking about it November last year, and everybody's like, oh, well, it's not a good quarterback class. You were right. But Jackson Dart really wasn't talked about very much until maybe the end of the year or February or March. Jackson Dart kind of completely sailed up, draft boards. So maybe, yeah, I don't hate the idea. I really don't. So maybe the Cardinals do go after, like, let's say, for example, an offensive lineman or whatever the position they decide to go to, and they go after a quarterback in the second round. I don't hate that. I don't hate that. Here you go, Lorenzo. There you go. Lorenzo and me have the same thought process. Levitt should be a later pick. Learn behind JB, but O line first, tackle and guards. See? Yeah, I don't hate this idea. If he comes back, sorry, if he comes out, because we don't know right now. We really don't. So we'll see. I agree. And here's the thing. The Cardinals, they were Cardinal scouts. I think I made a video about it. Maybe it was a few weeks back where we might have had a little sliver of hope on the season that the Cardinals were scouting, like the Cardinals organization was scouting in ASU. So they're doing their due diligence. I guess if for what it's worth, they're doing their due diligence. But yeah, he's young. He's young right now. He'll be 21 at the end of the year and 22 if he does get drafted in 2026 at the end of 2026. So he's super, super young. Russell in the chat says, I think the biggest thing in our next QB should be fire in his eyes and a leader. We've lacked that since Palmer. Yeah, man. It's true. And I know there's some people out there that are looking at the success that the Cardinals have had. We've only really had success, and I don't want to say consistently because it was only like a 2-year, 3 span because of how old they were. We're with those veteran quarterbacks, right? With Warner and Palmer. Those are the guys that really brought joy to Cardinal fans because there hasn't been a lot of joy, and that's to put it nicely. There hasn't been a lot of joy for Arizona Cardinal fans, unfortunately. Let me give a quick shout out here to the sponsors of the Easy Sports Fan here on YouTube, and we're going to continue the conversation. Cardinals getting ready for Week 11. San Francisco 49ers coming into State Farm Stadium, and I'm actually really excited to see what this turnout's going to be for Cardinal fans. I know there'll be a lot of 49er fans there, but I'm kind of excited to see what this Cardinal fan base, who's going to show up and who's actually interested in the season still. But let's give some love on over to the sponsors. Sleeper. The NFL season is here, which means you now have a chance of 100 times your cash on daily fantasy football. Pick on stats for stars like touchdowns, passing yards and receiving yards, and fantasy points, and more for up to 100 times the payout on Sleeper. Get your picks right, and you can win big. Use promo code AZSF, and you can get up to a $100 deposit match on your first initial deposit. Terms and conditions do apply. Everything will be in the description below of the video. On top of that, you will also be getting a $20, just free $20 that they'll just hand it on over to you if you use my promo code, no deposit needed. So you can use their app. Very, very fun. Make sure you check out Sleeper, proud sponsors of the Easy Sports Fan throughout the entirety of the 2025 season. Appreciate it. All right, let's keep the conversation going, ladies and gentlemen. 49ers versus Cardinals, Week 11. All right. Freddie in the chat says, Mike, I want Sam Levitt. Hey, I don't hate that. I don't hate that one bit. Randall in the chat says, Monty's QB that he traded for was Desmond Ridder is still out there waiting for us to sign him. Yikes. You know, the weird thing is that the Cardinals, every single year that Monty was here, brought in a quarterback. Every single year, he's brought in a quarterback. Year 1 was Clayton Tune. They drafted. Year 2, year 1 was Dobbs because they needed him, and Clayton Tune drafted. Year 2, we ended up bringing in. We traded for Desmond, and then year 3 was Jacoby. So maybe I don't know, man. It's just the Cardinals have always been looking for some sort of quarterback, and now let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Miguel in the chat says, I hope Kyler Murray is listening to all of this and comes back on fire. I mean, maybe. I mean, it kind of helped out Bryce Young, right? Bryce Young was benched. And he came out, with his head on fire. But even then, like, with his head on fire, Bryce Young has, 5 wins? Like, they're 5-5 right now, which, honestly, I would die. I would do anything to be 5-5. So I don't want to disrespect what the Carolina Panthers have done. But, like, that's Bryce Young, 5-5, right? Cardinals are 3-6 right now. They're 3-6. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Chill Peasy. What's up, man? Just tank. Put all the 2026 starters on IR. Dang. Chill Peasy. I mean, just tank it. It's over. It's done. I mean, finito. Yeah, I mean, wait, it is the you're not gonna hit playoffs. Let's be real. The playoffs aren't attainable for the Cardinals. Is there a sliver of chance? There might be a percentage of a 1% somewhere out there that the Cardinals have a slight less than 1% chance that playoffs are attainable. Maybe there's a little bit, but I don't think anybody right now is even thinking playoffs, man. I don't think anybody is anymore. It's just, it's done. You're the fourth in division. You probably most likely will finish in the fourth, unfortunately. And you got to kind of start thinking about 2026. The coaching staff, like I so badly want to be the fly on the wall to listen into these conversations that Michael Bidwell, Monty Ossenfort, and Jonathan Gannon is having. Like I so badly want to listen in and hear what is being said. Because yeah, injuries have plagued this team 100%. But on the other side of the coin, the season has kind of gone sideways before the injuries like piled up as bad as it is now. But yeah, BJ Ojulari not healthy. Walter Nolan wasn't healthy in the beginning. It was a lot, man. But yeah, injuries has plagued this team for sure. It's a factor. Lee in the chat, what's up, Lee? Our season is cooked, right? I get it. I get it. We all don't want to lose games, but at this point, we play for the draft. Yeah, that's what I was saying a little earlier. It depends on how you look at the game, and I don't think anybody's wrong, right? And I remember, what was I saying? I believe it was 2 years ago. I was preaching the fact that no, I don't want the Cardinals to tank. I hate that mentality. It's a loser mentality. But that's when you had Kyler, right? You had Kyler waiting in waiting to come back. Now, there's no real future. There's no real future, especially if you listen to all those reports. The Cardinals need to kind of make a sacrifice. But like I said, if you choose to look at the season as I want to keep winning, that's fine. If you choose to look at the season as, hey, we're tanking to 2026 and let's go for the quarter, and that's fine too. The Cardinals are in a situation where Kyler, I would say like 75 to 80%, he's probably not going to be in a Cardinal uniform in 2026. Now, if he comes back at the end of this year, then we're having different conversations. But we'll see. We'll see. You know this organization, they love to speak in riddles. You know this organization, they love to speak in riddles. They don't give us a direct answer. So we'll see how it all shakes out. But you're right, Lee. I mean, the season is cooked. It's cooked. 110%. Randall V in the chat says, it's sounding more and more like Kyler is the best option at QB, unfortunately. But here's the problem. As, like, do you think Kyler Murray wants to come back? Right? Do you think he wants to come back? Because look at it this way. When Kyler was asked about the new facility, right? When he was asked about the new facility, he said, oh, it looks great. It's beautiful, right? I hope I'm here to see it. He already knows that comments have been talking that this is a big year for him, right? This is a massive year for Kyler Murray. And let's be real, this season has not shaken out the way that it should have. Now, is that all Kyler Murray's fault? No, it's not. But the truth of the nature is that if you're finding yourself in a situation where you're sitting at the top 5 in the NFL draft, you got to pull the trigger and potentially go after a quarterback, especially if you do believe that your guy is up there. Right now, there's one team sitting at the number 1 pick right now, and that's Tennessee. I don't think they're going quarterback. I think they're still believing Cam Ward. They just got rid of their head coach a few weeks back, and they're going to give Cam Ward time to develop. If there's one team the Cardinals can trade up, it's probably Tennessee. Now, if Tyler Shuck shows something over to the New Orleans Saints that they believe in him, hey, maybe they might not get a quarterback. The Jets, they're going to go after a quarterback, whether that's a veteran, whether that's Kyler Murray, or through the draft, they're going to get a quarterback. Cleveland, they're kind of up in the air right now. I don't really know exactly what Cleveland's doing. They're probably going to get a quarterback as well. And then there's Vegas. The Geno experiment is not working. So there can be a realistic spot that the Cardinals can find themselves, shoot on up to the top first or second to try to get in front of the Jets. Let's hope that the Saints keep winning. Fingers crossed that the Saints win a game or two. Let's hope that the Tennessee stays at the number 1 overall pick. Because We got to climb up. We got to climb up to the top part of the draft. Right now, you're sitting at a number 11. I do see some teams that the Cardinals can leapfrog in the end of this week, especially if the Cardinals lose this game. Right? Cincinnati might win. Miami or Washington, one of those teams have to win. So the Cardinals might leapfrog some of these teams and maybe find themselves in the top 10. So let's see. Let's see. Chill. What's up, man? Someone will trade for Kyler. Cleveland traded for Deshaun Watson and guarantee. Oh, yeah. There you go. That's the motivation I want to hear. I agree. I think he's got a value. I do. I think there's going to be a market for him. There's going to be a market for Kyler. Now, it might not be the market that we think it is or want or hope, but there's going to be a market for Kyler. There's so much uncertainty in 2026. We just listed off the veterans that are going to be available, right? We just list them off. What is it? Daniel Jones, which if the Colts were smart, they would retain Daniel Jones. What he's doing for them in this year is great. So Daniel Jones, Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, Mariota. I don't want any of those guys. But that's your pick. And then there's arguably 3 top quarterbacks in this draft. And that's even if they declare Dante Moore, Ty Simpson, and Fernando Mendoza. That's it. Those are top 10 guys that could get picked up in the top 10. But we don't know if Dante Moore is coming back or going to the draft or if he's going back to college. We don't know if Ty Simpson is. Fernando Mendoza, probably most likely. He's a consensus number 1 overall pick right now, if it's a team there that is quarterback needy. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Imagine, don't even put this on us, Brian. Don't even put this on us. Yeah, I mean, Cleveland traded for Deshaun Watson. Good call out. Yeah. I think if there's 2 teams we can fleece, if there's 2 teams we can convince that Kyler is your guy, it's probably going to be the Jets or Cleveland. Those would be the 2 teams right there that I feel like if the Cardinals play this smart, and I don't know if Monty Ossenford is that guy to play it smart, but he might be. Those are the 2 teams that I can say, okay, we could probably get away with fleecing one of these 2 teams, Cleveland or the Jets. They just don't have a good reputation of doing smart things. Now, I get it. The Cardinals don't either. Whatever. But I mean, outside of us, the Jets and Cleveland. I feel like the Saints are pretty smart. I just hope Tyler Shuck keeps winning and they give him something to root for. Hopefully, fingers crossed. Keenan Allen in the chat. Keenan Allen. Sorry, Keenan. Not Keenan Allen. Keenan. What's up, Keenan? He says this. Watson was a Pro Bowler. Kyler is benched. Yeah, but benched to the people that, like, what we said earlier in this chat, which was very true. The NFL is a copycat league. The NFL is a very, very much copycat league. You're seeing Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, Daniel Jones revive their career. I'm assuming you're going to have 1 or 2, 3 teams this next year that are going to say, okay, Kyler Murray was a 2-time Pro Bowler, Rookie of the Year, potential MVP candidate in the early part of his season. Maybe we can revive him. Or at least that's what I'm hoping for, right? Like, to me, at least that's what I'm hoping. But this is a copycat league, 100%. The new trend, the new fad that's going on is that, look at these these quarterbacks that were drafted really high and their careers didn't work, but they had to go to the right place, right? I think that's going to benefit the Cardinals. I feel like that will benefit the Cardinals because somebody's going to want to revive the career of Kyler. And those Kyler Murray stands, they might find themselves a new team. And I'm not wishing any downfall on Kyler. I really do hope that his career blossoms into something great. It's just, it's not working here. That's the problem. Now, if he comes back in 2026, okay. I mean, not the biggest fan of that, but circumstances, I guess, are the circumstances. We'll see. Jason, what's up, Jason? Cardinals should sign Kyle McCord off the Eagles practice squad. Look up his history. Couldn't hurt. More bodies in the QB room. Kyle McCord was Marvin Harrison Jr.'s quarterback in Ohio State. Yeah, Kyle McCord was Kyler Murray, sorry, Marvin Harrison Jr.'s quarterback in Ohio State. Is he in the practice squad right now? Sixth round pick. The only thing I don't want to go back to, I don't want to go back to Cardinals trying to do what they did between the times of like Max Hall, Anderson, uh, all these guys that were within that time, Skelton. I don't want to try the Cardinals to go after somebody that was a sixth round pick, right? Because that's what those guys were. They were like late round picks. I think the best one was probably Kevin Cobb in terms of draft wise, like value where he was picked. But even then, like he was still a mid round pick. Cardinals need to develop their guy. They gave Kyler 7 years. 7 years. I feel like they need to just try it again. Let's see what happens. But I don't hate it. But I'm also not in love with it either. Freddie in the chat says, you think we have a shot at winning? Well, I mean, any given Sunday. Any given Sunday. I'm not going to come out here and say the Cardinals are going to sweep the floor with the 49ers. I think we're both in the situation where, must win in different aspects of your season. It's a must win for this coaching staff for the Cardinals, right? And it's a must win for the 49ers because they want to stay within the division race. So do I feel like the Cardinals can steal a game from Shanahan? I do. I think it can happen. But on the other side of the coin, all I want to do is not get beat down. That's what. Look, my mind is already in 2026, unfortunately. Like, I'm already trying to plan out, hopefully, what the Cardinals can potentially do. And I know some people don't like that, but it's the truth of the nature. You're 3-6, and then now 0-3 in the division. Kind of put yourself here. And on top of that, you got 2 games with the Rams at the end of the season, and you got 1 more game with the 49ers. So, like, sheesh. It's going to be brutal, man. It's going to be really, really brutal. Is Clayton Tune still available? Last I heard, I think he went with the Packers. Last I heard, he went with the Packers, and I believe he was on the practice squad. So I think he's on their practice squad right now, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see here. Just double check. Clayton Tune, the Tune Show. Yep, he's with the Packers right now. 5th round pick in 2023 for the Cardinals. It's so crazy, man, because you could have a really cool season in college, and he had a really good season in Houston. It's just, if you're not given a fair chance to develop and to be that guy, you're never really going to get a. But I never thought the Tune was ever going to be Kyler out, right? But yeah, it's crazy, man. The Tune Show. The Tune Show. What's up, Lee? I get that a new QB may be the answer to give us hope. I still think we need to put major work on the O-line. I agree. And it won't matter who's back there if he's still getting killed back there. That's fair. That's fair. I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Maybe what the Cardinals can do is ride out for a Holt and Paris as your 2 guys that you're going to be depending on in 2026. Now, if Will Hernandez comes back, okay. But you need to look out for your right tackle of the future in a guard that's going to eventually replace Brown, Evan Brown. I don't know if Isaiah Adams can be that guy. Maybe he'll develop. I don't know. But if you somehow can get yourself one of the top guys in free agency in terms of a guard or a tackle, you're good. And then you could potentially get yourself a guy in the draft. You've already kind of helped put the pieces together. Now, that's not going to be over. You got to continue year in and year out to continue to build that offensive line better and better, right? But you got to have to pick and choose in this offseason. Like, where are you going to address what your needs are? Because right now, the Cardinals have a lot more needs leaving the season than coming into the season, right? Offensive line is a big issue. The running back is an issue. James Conner might not be back. Trey Benson, can he stay healthy? He was supposed to be our dude. He can't stay healthy. So running back is a problem, right? Wide receiver number 2, hell, some might even say wide receiver number 1 is a problem, right? The quarterback can be a problem that you need to address as well. On the defensive side of the ball, middle linebacker opposite side of Mac Wilson Sr., problem. Edge rusher, opposite side of Josh Sweat, consistently problem. We don't know if B.J. Ojulari is going to be the guy. Hopefully, fingers crossed, he can play soon. Baron Browning is a good rotational piece. Jordan Burch is still young, developing, but rotational piece right now. We don't got that guy opposite side of Josh Sweat. Still, we don't. There's still a lot of issues on this team. Budda Baker, he's getting up there in age, right? On their safety. Jalen Thompson, what happens with him? Like, there's so many holes on this team that's going to rear its ugly head in 2026. And although I agree, offensive line is a big problem, you can't throw every single pick out there. And I'm not saying you are saying that, but we got to be able to pick and choose and bring in the guys that are going to hopefully elevate a specific position. Yes, Jonah Williams needs to go. 100% agree. Michael Williams is going to have a big week. I hope so. I hope so. Our first 3 peaks. Our first 3 picks need to be O-line if the QB wasn't there. I'm cool with our first. So I guess it depends on what happens in free agency, though. If the Cardinals get a free agent that's one of the top guys, then you all really need to get yourself another one in the draft, whether it's the first round or second round. And if you want to, like, I wouldn't say first 3 picks personally, but I guess it also depends, like, if you're going to get a top pick for Kyler. So, yeah, I mean, anything's on the table. Most likely. I mean, the Cardinals really don't have very many options. They kind of have to use Xavier Weaver. It's going to be George, Wilson, and Weaver. Or they elevate from people from the practice squad. Bocelli. Yeah, it's rough, man. It's rough. Trey McBride's going to eat. Let's just leave it that way. Trey McBride's going to eat. If we can unlock Weaver, that will kind of help out a specific position there in the but we know, man, you know how the NFL works. Sometimes you don't get your opportunity until injuries happen, and it's unfortunate, but that's just the way the NFL works. There's levels of tiers of when you can actually provide production and opportunity. This is going to be the opportunity for Weaver. Last year, Marv was hurt for 1 game with the concussion, and he looked okay, but I'm hoping this year he finally gets the opportunity and he shows out. We'll see. But with that note, ladies and gentlemen, we will be closing up shop right here. We have hit the hour mark. If you can do me a huge favor, smack up the like button on your way out. We're going to be on the road to 19K. Cannot do it without you guys, so I appreciate you guys for being here up and foremost. We're closing up shop right here. We are getting ready for 49ers versus Cardinals. Is there hope? Well, there's a little hope, but what I'm really looking forward to is winning football, or I guess just not getting blown out in general for the Arizona Cardinals. Let's see what happens. All right, ladies and gentlemen, appreciate you for tuning in. I will see you most likely on Sunday with the live play-by-play and reaction, Cardinals versus 49ers. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. I get it. Terrible season, but here we are. 8 games left. Let's see how the Cardinals end up. There you go. Have a great rest of your day, and as always, go Cardinals.